All right, time now for All Things Gators, all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken getting his hair right. And Frangie, what's up, Hick?
I feel good. It was cold this morning, so I had my little hat on, but I don't feel like I need my hat right now.
Than you. I'm trying to
I know. I also don't like that.
I think my seat won't go down. I think it's broken.
Can you pass me the? Is that alcohol right there?
It is. It's liquor. It's
a little
water.
early, but
It's got the brown waters.
By the way, thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, for bringing you this podcast. se-ortho.com for all your orthopedic needs in Jacksonville, FLA. Listen. I guess we can start with basketball.
Yeah.
Terrible loss to Vanderbilt. Terrible. Vanderbilt was, you're at home. You got to bounce back from your getting whacked at Alabama. Vanderbilt's playing good basketball, and I thought Castleton got outplayed a little bit. He played fine. I mean, he's a good player, but the other kid was so hot early on, and Vandy beat him. And any kind of March Madness hopes are gone.
Yeah, that ended the NCAA tournament. And so let me say this. Let me tell you why everyone said they lost, and then let me correct everybody and tell you why they did lose. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Is that okay? Everybody said they lost because they didn't play defense. Because Vandy made 12 threes and the big guy went for 32.
You're going to go 2 for 20 on why they lost.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, good.
But the bottom line, Dan, is you're going to have games when the other guy can't miss.
Right.
Right. You can talk defense all you want.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes guys are going to shoot the lights out.
And they did.
And they did.
Yeah.
If Florida makes 5 of 20, that's 25%, they win the game.
Yeah.
Lost by 8, that'd be
5 of 20.
If they go 5 of 20, which is 25%, they win the game.
It's mind-boggling how bad of a shooting team this is.
That, to me, is the bottom line of the team. I like how they play. My guess is if Todd Golden can recruit good players, then that's a question.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the portal. I mean, again, he deserves time to do that.
Sure.
But the reality of this is, excuse me, I clear my throat.
Yes.
The reality of this is, it's one of the worst shooting teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's incomprehensible that they're that bad of a shooting team, Dan. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, they can't shoot at all.
Yeah.
Now, did Todd assess these guys, or is this all he could get?
Yeah.
Because Will Richard, we thought would come in as a good shooter. He's streaky.
He looks the part, but he's
not a great shooter.
Where's his game? I mean, has he even had? I mean,
I thought
nothing. Lofton, him, all those kids.
Those excuse me again.
Yes.
Sorry about that, podcast world.
Hello, podcast world.
Lofton and Richard are the two guys.
Yeah.
That I think are not nearly as good as I expected them to be.
And if Trey Bonham, I guess, to me, Trey Bonham was our new Appleby, and Appleby's flourishing in his 8th year in college basketball. But he's not.
He's not Appleby.
He's not. So these guys are what they are. And again, it is what it is. And you've made the point over and over again that, you know what, when you get some of these kids from the portal, there's a reason why you're getting them in the portal.
That's right. But I thought Lofton and Richard would be better than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think he's got a good culture. I think they play hard. I think they defend most of the time.
Yeah.
I think he's a good X's and O's guy.
Yeah.
But listen, it's always Jimmys and Joes. Always.
And this is what
any sport is Jimmys and Joes.
Listen, I want Todd Golden to do great. I'm rooting for Todd Golden, man. Go Gators. I mean, he's our guy. I'm 100% behind Todd Golden. The only point I was making way back when, and I'll say it again, because they always remind me, when Georgia gets whacked, I get on Twitter, I get my message from some of the boys.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and be the guy that sits there and goes, oh, look what happened on Saturday, because I saw what happened on Saturday. Everything you said, we had a good culture. We had that before.
Right.
So we just we've got to go up, and it's tough to go up when you're the program that we are. So
right. The whole Mike White thing is this.
Yeah.
Mike White thing is social for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that. Let me give you some numbers. You like numbers? You're a numbers guy?
I do like numbers.
Florida has played basketball 101 years.
101 years.
Okay. They've had 15 coaches, 16 if you count Don DeVoe, who's kind of sort of there.
Don DeVoe.
Okay. 16 coaches.
Captain A.
Okay. 16. You with me?
Yes.
16 coaches in 101 years.
Okay, good.
Mike White
is
the second most successful of those 16. That's reality.
That is reality.
He has more NCAA tournament
and that's
victories.
not like a small sample.
No, it's 101
years.
And the point is, this isn't a conversation about Mike White.
Right.
It's Florida has not been a good basketball job.
Right.
It's an average to below average basketball job. And there's Villanova, St. John's, Georgetown are all better jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a good basketball job. One magical coach showed up for 19 years.
Yeah.
He went to a bunch of Final Fours. He won two titles.
And the fact that the magical guy gave him 19.
Right.
Beautiful.
That magical guy gave him 19 years and 2 titles and a bunch of Final Fours and bunch of Elite Eights.
Yeah.
Then now the people that only know that expect that to be the bar. It's not.
It's not.
It's not the bar. And
now you're finding that out.
Yeah, and it wasn't ever going to be the bar. It's a bad basketball job.
Yeah.
That a really good AD found a really magical coach.
Yeah.
And that's what wound up happening.
Yeah.
And so the bar is set, and people all. So a Mike White comes along, who certainly is good enough to be the Florida coach, as you and I've said many times. Yeah, I don't know if he's not Billy Donovan.
No,
but
who is?
He went to an Elite Eight. He barely missed. You know, he went to the tournament most of the time. He lost Keontae Johnson. But anyway, the point is not Mike White.
Right.
The point is, don't run off Todd Golden.
No,
because you're a mediocre basketball job, and he might be a pretty good coach.
Give him some time,
but he needs time. So, but he's
remember
he
came from San Francisco, man. He's got relationships to establish. There's a lot of work for him to do.
That's right, and I give him time to do it. I think because he's got to figure out what
he's our guy. You back your guy.
Figure out what you can get to Florida. He doesn't know yet. He didn't know who he could get to come. And by the way, he barely missed some really good players. Janai Broome, the really good 6'10" player at Auburn, barely missed him.
Yeah.
A big guy from St. Bonaventure that wound up at Iowa State instead of coming with Lofton, barely missed him.
Okay.
So I think so. We'll see. But right now it doesn't change. It's the worst shooting team. As far as good Florida, it's the worst shooting team of all time among the good teams.
Well, we did
now,
this.
the Norm Sloan 6 and 25 team in 1980 doesn't count.
We did this podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago, another one, and I remember bringing up the numbers. I looked it up, and Florida was shooting threes at like 273rd in the country. Well, it's probably gone down after 2.
It's 306.
It's 306.
After Saturday, they're 306 in the country in three-point shooting. 306.
Well, I wish you could see my face, podcast.
Yeah, I did the math. I just did the math on that. That means there's 305 teams that are better. 305 teams that are better at shooting three-pointers than Florida.
I've had this discussion with you before, and I will continue. And at Florida, I would 100% do this. I would tell my guys, find me the best shooter in the state.
Right.
I don't care what he looks like. He can be an Oompa Loompa.
Right.
I don't care. He is going to be on my team, and he is going to shoot me, 5, 6, 7 threes a game. And when he's in, we'll play zone, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah,
I just don't think these coaches are willing to risk taking a kid who doesn't have the other parts, but can shoot.
But other coaches are taking that risk because every other team's got some good shooters.
Do they?
Yeah. I mean,
I talk to my guy, Kentucky Jeff, all the time. Yeah. And for 5 years, he's been bemoaning, we don't have any shooters.
Well, but that's on a different level than Florida not having shooters, okay? Well, Kentucky.
We don't have any shooters,
whatever your Kentucky buddy's saying is, we don't have enough good shooters to go beat Kansas in April.
Yeah.
I just want enough shooters to beat Vanderbilt in February, okay? I'm not,
by the way,
that's
is that
the difference.
Vanderbilt is now beating us in basketball and football?
Yes. I mean,
hey, Mr. Strickland.
Yeah.
Let's fix that up.
Well, and I'm a big Scott Strickland fan.
I know you
know that. Scott's a friend.
I know he is.
But he's going to be measured on these 2 hires.
I know.
These are the 2 hires. So, but anyway.
Baseball's coming.
Yeah, really. We'll get to that in a minute. But honestly, I think I still thought even after going 1-3 in that brutal.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought they were going to. I thought they'd lose all 4.
Yeah.
And I thought they beat Tennessee. They
battled
Kentucky.
Great win.
Yeah, great win against Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Played hard against Kentucky. I can forgive the Alabama blowout because everybody gets blown out by Alabama. They're really good.
Especially
they're the best team in the country.
Yeah.
But this is the one. This was the dagger. Beat Vanderbilt. Wednesday beat Ole Miss. Then you'd have been 15-11 and 8-5 and right in it even after that gauntlet.
Yeah.
That's how this loss ended it. I don't think
I would agree.
They'd have to run the table to get in now. They're not going to run the table.
No.
That's not a run the table team.
And Castleton's been great.
He's been really
laud
good
him for
player.
His terrific play. That's a kid who came to Florida averaging 1 point a game.
Yeah. By the way, by the end of last year, I really thought Kawasi Reeves was going to be a good player.
He is not.
Up and down, take some wild shots.
That's the thing. He gets the ball, he'll drive down. I mean, we very rarely make that extra pass.
Right.
Make that extra pass, boy. It's kind of like every guy wants to get theirs.
Now, he's a guy.
But when he gets hot.
Yeah, he's a guy that can make the shots when he's hot. Yeah. But he also has 4 games in a row when he misses them. So they are what they are.
Yep.
I think to wrap basketball, to get to some other stuff,
to
wrap basketball, you know what? Stay above 500 so you get to the NIT. And then I would think this. Riley Kugel, there's something there.
He's a good player.
There's
I like him.
Potentially. Richard will be back. He's only a sophomore, and there's something in there. And they'll probably keep Alex Fudge because he's a sophomore that transferred in.
Yeah.
Is it crazy to think that other than those 3 guys,
it could be totally
the
redone
other 10,
again?
There'll be 10
could be
new
redone
guys?
again.
I mean, I would think
that's the nature of college basketball. It's not just Florida; it's everywhere.
My opinion would be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got Kugel will be back, Richard will be back. I think they keep Alex Fudge. He's a 6'9" guy that can run and jump, and he's going to get better.
Yeah. He's another guy who's got to learn to play his role, and sometimes he gets a little too much with the offense. And
yeah, he played. But I'll say this:
but he's a big kid who can jump, and he's got some skills.
There's 2 freshmen, Aberdeen and then Alex, the kid from Germany.
Yeah,
that aren't playing at all.
Right.
If you're not playing at all on this team. It's hard to believe you're going to be good down the road. I understand some freshmen who don't play very much on really good teams.
That's a good point. That'll be interesting to follow.
But on guys like that don't play at all on this team, you don't play at all on this team?
Yeah.
Then I wonder how good you could possibly be. So it would not surprise me if Richard's back, Kugel's back, Fudge is back, and you have 13 scholarships, right?
Yeah.
Would not surprise me if there's 10 new guys. Would not shock me.
Yeah, let's get off the hoops. Let's shift gears and talk to our bread and butter, baby. We are rock solid, right? I need to talk to your friend, your colleague, Lauren Brooks.
Yeah.
First off, why in the hell did we drop a spot in the rankings?
She's the czar of all things gymnastics.
Yeah.
I'll ask her on the
Can you get information
today.
for me on that? Because that frustrated me.
Yeah.
All we do is win
the
gymnastics meets. All we do is post 10s.
Trinity Thomas, by the way, was all over Sports Center this week.
Trinity's on Sports Center.
Not just SEC Network.
I don't know who's better than us. Why are we third?
I don't know.
I also noticed we put a little 21 spot on the Redbirds of Illinois State. I'd like to point that one out in softball. We got our bread and butter right now.
And I think baseball will be good. I think baseball will be good. We got
kid because we care. Then you got me to baseball.
We got Waldrop.
Oh.
Who's the kid from Southern Miss?
He's our Saturday guy.
Sproat and Waldrop apparently both hit 98 last week.
Waldrop and Sproat.
98. I mean, I know today.
For rain.
I do know today's radar guns.
Yeah.
Last year, 20 years ago, that would have been 85.
Yeah.
Okay. The great Lee Smith, by the way, the closer for the Cubs all those years, was at a fantasy camp about 10 years ago with a buddy of mine. And then you know how they go. They play with all the old guys, and then they hang out at the bar afterwards. And one guy asked Lee Smith, Lee, how hard do you throw? How hard do you throw? He goes, with today's guns, about 140.
Yeah.
That's
some truth to that.
Today's guns are different.
Yeah.
But you got 2 guys. Yeah, they're going to be
our
pretty
Sunday
good.
guys in question because the big fella, the big lefty's hurt again.
Pierce Coppola is still not, the back injury, still not ready.
Work on your part.
Yeah, he's still not ready.
Okay.
But they got a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
They got a guy. Slater was good last year. They got Abner, the lefty, wasn't bad.
Lil is his cousin, Lil Abner.
Yeah.
I'm excited about baseball, and it's a big year for
Neely
Sully.
will probably be the guy,
Yeah, and Sully, we'll see what he's able to cobble together, and we'll get to watch them here. They're very highly ranked and thought of, and I want to get back to Omaha.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, can we bring up football?
You may. Always.
I'm going to make a comment right now about football that you're going to tell me I'm crazy.
Oh, boy. It's just better not be the Mertz thing. I'm a little miffed because of the $80,000 Range Rover. They got it discounted.
Well, I think Mertz will be better than you think, but that's not the comment.
Okay, good.
But I do love the fact that he got the Range Rover. That's fantastic.
$80,000 Range Rover.
I think he's going to be
discounted.
I think he'll be better than you think, but that's not what it's about.
No.
I am weirdly confident that Billy Napier is going to be really good. I'm not trying to be Homer guy.
Yeah, I know you're not.
If I see I look back at I don't care where they finished in recruiting. They got a bunch of defensive linemen, which they didn't have. They got a bunch of fast receivers, which they didn't have.
Yeah.
It's clear when he did that presser after his signing day.
Yeah.
Did you hear how he read off every height and weight? That's this morning. Oh, this morning he was 6'3", 248. Did you? My gut tells me he knows what he's doing. Am I lost my mind to think that? I'm weirdly that doesn't mean next year they're going to be 11 wins, but I think I'm weirdly confident that this is the guy that will build Florida football back.
Okay, well, look, I'm happy you feel that way. I'm glad. I respect your opinion, so that's good to hear. I'm not nearly as confident.
Yeah.
If anything, my confidence meter has waned after one season.
And you're not alone.
And it will continue to wane as we struggle this fall. And then we'll see when, if he can hit kind of rock bottom and rebound and bring him back up. That will be the challenge for him. I love what he talks about. I love what he stands for. I love who he is. I mean, I'm glad he's our coach.
Yeah.
But like all Gator fans, I want to win.
Yeah,
we are in an abyss here, Frank.
Yeah, no
6
question.
and 7, 2 years in a row.
The one thing I have learned is this: is there's now only one way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's you got to get the 4s and the 5s.
Yeah.
Used to be you could win because you could out-coach them and you could out-scheme them.
Got to get
that day's over. I mean, with all due respect, Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney and Ryan Day and Kirby Smart, and they're all good football coaches,
right?
But they're not winning with X's and O's.
No.
The best example ever was Georgia. Georgia, 2 years ago, won the national championship. Then the whole stinking team went to the NFL.
Yes, they did.
Like all of the water boys, the cheerleaders, they all went to the NFL.
Yeah.
And they won it again.
They did.
So that means they're recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. And I'm weirdly confident that Billy Napier, if Twitter Jag doesn't run him off because they don't win enough games in year 2 or 3, I'm weirdly confident that Billy Napier is going to build that roster. I just get this feeling. It's clear what he's doing. He wants really big offensive linemen.
Inside out, for sure.
Yeah,
I like that.
He's getting those 6'8", 350s up front. He's getting the 330s on the defensive front. It's clear size. It's clear he went and got fast receivers, which they hadn't had.
Yeah.
It's clear he went and got 6 defensive linemen because they had a miserable defensive line group, and then a couple more in the portal. I really am weirdly confident that this is now. I want to see a little bit more from the game coaching. I've had my fill of play fakes down 30, but there's some things in the coaching I'm not sure. Bad clock management at the end of the half.
Yeah. There's
some things I don't like about him as a game coach yet.
Yeah.
But I do think he's going to build it. My gut tells me that they're going to have a roster like the good teams.
Here's my biggest issue with trying to figure this out. Year 2 is such a symbolic, year 2 of Division I head coaches. They make jumps. The great, almost all the great ones in year 2 do something, and I'm not sure they're going to have the Jimmys and Joes to do that.
Well, that's
year.
the thing. You got to have the better foundation.
I'm going to have to sort of balance that as I walk through another year of getting my ass handed to me by my rivals, which I don't like.
Well, the key I hear, and I get that.
Yeah,
but I'm a big believer now that Twitter, social media, the guy that's the loudest is the angry guy in any walk of life.
Sure.
But
they have a right, if we're sick. Florida football is different than basketball. And we've said this a million times. We have a right to demand, expect, and have goals and expectations. Yeah.
But you don't have a right to say in year 2 he should win 10 games. We don't have that right. But I mean,
I would be happy, honestly, if he's got 8.
Yeah. But let me ask you this. So let's say he recruits a really good year, has a really good recruiting year,
and goes like 6 and 7,
and
or 5 and 8,
wins 7 games. 5 and 8, I can see why people can be upset.
Okay,
but they're 7 and 6.
Okay,
you know what's going to happen? Twitter's going to lose its mind
at 7 and 6.
Yeah, you don't think so?
Yeah, depends who those 6 are.
Yeah, and
don't lose to Vandy again, Coach.
So let me go back to. I know we're late here, but
we're late.
Let me go back to Florida State real quick.
This is where we start losing listeners and viewers.
Florida State. Podcast
strategy tells us we got to wrap it.
Podcast Nation's not happy with us right now. Very quickly, Florida State is really upwardly mobile. They won 10 games. You're going to be a top 10
Everybody's
team.
back. Blah, blah,
top 10 team, right?
Top 5.
Right, maybe. Top, right. Won 10 games, right?
Yep.
They won 10 games. They're going to be great. Blah, blah, blah. Well, to be fair, when they played the last game of the year.
We went toe-to-toe with them.
At night.
Yeah.
In Doak Campbell Stadium,
it
came down to a Hail Mary or a throw at the end zone at the end of the game.
Okay.
So they can't be that far apart. This top 5 team versus this team that everybody thinks sucks.
Okay. Now you're giving me something tangible.
I mean, weren't they close? I mean, I watched.
Did you watch the game?
You have a TV? Okay.
I did see that game.
Okay, so I mean, they were. Am I wrong, or did the game come down to a throw at the end of the end zone at the end of the game?
It was a competitive game.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's all I got. That's all things Gators.
Done.
All things Sergeant Blue, Dan Hicken, Frank Frangie.
And thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, the best in the business in the Jacksonville area. se-ortho.com for all your orthopedic needs. This podcast is in the books, Frankie.
See you, Hick.